Walkabout Minigolf VR is a VR game where you walk about and play minigolf. And it just so happens this game has a lot of Easter eggs. So many, in fact, I have to make a third version of this video because they keep adding more. So enjoy. First up, we have Tourist Trap, where if you fly to this wooden post in the middle of the island, you can find this tiny skull floating here, which is very easy to miss with just how tiny this thing is. And then we have Cherry Blossom, the second course, where to find this Easter egg, you have to fly way into the void off the map, where you can find an untextured ping pong paddle, as well as what I assume is a ping pong ball. And then there's Original Gothic Hard Mode, where if you fly off this edge, you can find a hidden dead body. But that's not all for this map, because you fly out this window, every once in a while, the shadowy figure will emerge from the side of the window and then disappear shortly after. I don't know why I'm talking so dramatically. And then there's Tethys Station, where you can find this severed head inside this glass case on one of the spaceships, which is actually just the default avatar. And then we have Boogie's Bazaizia, where if you go into the saloon, you can find a wanted poster for $500 that also has the default avatar. Wait a minute, you seem familiar. Come back here, I want my $500, And then we have Kyoto Valley, where if you fly over to the sheep in the distance and look closely, you can see one of them is actually sticking his tongue out. Oh, who's a good little sheep? Oh, you are. There's actually an Easter egg on the hub world too, because if you go in the cave, you can find over in this dark corner a hidden dead body. Also located on the hub world, you can find a periscope sticking out of the water, which on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, you can look through and see the hub world. And on Journey to the Center of the Earth, if you go down this ravine, you can find the book that this course was based on. And you can also find a dead body on this weird fungi, whatever it's called. And to finish off the Jules Verne series, we have Around the World in 80 Days, where in a suitcase by the first hole, you can find a dead body. Good luck getting that through airport security. You can also find this telescope where when you look through it, it seems like it's just a random building. But if you take the time to fly all the way over to it and go inside the building, you can find some giant bananas. You can also find floating in the sky the escape pod from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and a dead body flowing up with his luggage. But if you go even higher than that, on top of the balloon, you can find this really tiny skull. And it's really hard to get a good recording when it's constantly moving and so small. And to start off the Lost City series, we have Gardens of Babylon, where if you fly all the way to the back of the map, you can find this dead tree, which is a very strange detail when it's the only plant on the entire course that is not alive. And if you go on hard mode, there's actually a candle next to the tree. And then we have El Dorado, where when you fly to the waterfall way in the distance, you can actually find some sunken treasure. And on hard mode, if you look closely at these flares, you can see they say Mighty on them, which of course stands for Mighty Coconut, the creators of Walkabout Minigolf. Anyways, moving on the Atlantis course, if you swim way over into the distance, you can find this giant clam, and in it a note that says this isn't a wave goodbye. Maybe I should talk in these Easter egg videos like that. In the marine, if you go in the ravine, you can find a submarine. And in the tub, you can find a severed arm. I can't come up with anything that rhymes. And then there's Temple at Zerzura, where if you fly behind the pyramid way in the distance, you can find a giant golf ball. And underneath the golf ball, you can find a crushed dead guy. But if you go on hard mode, you can actually see the dead guy's ghost, so it's an Easter egg inside an Easter egg. Also on this map, you can find random ghost cat prints that usually don't lead anywhere. But there is a path of cat prints that leads to a dead ghost fish, and another one that can lead to a dead ghost mouse. There's also this random platform in the middle of the desert for some reason. And for whatever reason, several pairs of cat prints all leads here. Maybe this used to be some cat monument or something? I don't know. And to finish off this course, if you go in the door behind the abacus, you can find the ghost cat in all its glory. Moving on, if you go over to the Upside Down map, and you can find this museum holding various objects from different courses. This stone thing is from El Dorado. And over here you have the orange things on a plate from Shangri-La and in Laser Lair. Next up you have the mixer, which is from Sweetopia. And these origami foxes, which are from the scavenger hunt on Cherry Blossom Hard Mode. And then we have this windmill thing, which is from one of the holes on Kyoto Valley. And then we have this mask, which is of course from El Dorado, over by this dead body. But interestingly though, if you go on hard mode, the mask in the whole case is gone, probably to make more room for the hole. But it's also gone on El Dorado hard mode. Why is it missing from hard mode on both maps? Who knows? And then there's this crown thingy-majig, which is from that one map. And then we have these wooden circles, which are from the fox hunt on Arizona Modern. And then you can find this modeled ship, which is from the map Mist. Or when you look at these constellations of a spider, a leaf, and a snake and flick the corresponding switches, this model ship will emerge out of the water. As well as this giant ship right by the first hole. And there's also this cat vase from Temple at Zerzura, which actually came out after Upside Down. Also on Upside Down, if you go inside this room, you can find some giant bananas. Also on Upside Down, if you go down this railing on this hop of the fire escape, you can find another hidden skelly. And if you go into the cafe, on the shelf you can see a picture of the sheep sticking its tongue out, which of course is the same sheep from Kyoto Valley. Also, if you look at this park bench, you can find a crossword puzzle that is completely solvable, and all the answers are mini-golf related. You can also find this torn up photograph, and the two people in the photograph appear to be on the hub world. Next up we have the Laser Lair course, where if you fly all the way down in the volcano, inside the lava you can find a hidden skeleton. And on hard mode, if you go in the pool, you can find another severed arm. What's the deal with severed arms? I am not sure. Next up in the Evil Lair series, we have Ice Lair, where if you fly over to this iceberg and look into the water, you can find another dead body hidden underneath there. And then if you go in this igloo, you can find some bananas and some other stuff. And if you take the time to fly all the way over to this tall mountain in the distance, you can find a tiny skull on top of the snowman. And underneath this big submarine on this ledge, you can find another skeleton. And if you go in the water over here, you can find the same submarine again from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. If you go on hard mode though, you can actually find some flares and some other equipment, which of course is referencing Journey to the Center of the Earth. And then on the newest course, Venice, if you go over to this art museum, you can find this unfinished statue, which is actually the same statue from the Atlantis course. And on hard mode, it's actually already in the courtyard, finished and pouring out water. Also, if you fly over to the top of this tower in the distance, you can find a tiny skull on top of it wearing a hat. On hard mode, you can also find a wooden sculpture of the Mighty Coconut logo, the creators of Walkabout Minigolf. Then there's the Sweetopia map, where when you go down the factory on hole 15, you can find another hidden skelly. Fun fact about this Easter egg, it's actually the first one I ever found and made a video on almost 2 years ago now. And if you go over to hole 18 and look under the gazebo, you can find a plate with a mini golf course on it. Now that's what I call mini golf. Next up we have the Alpine course. Yeah, there's no Easter eggs on Alpine that I know of. Next up we have the Mist course, where if you go inside the clock tower and look behind this thingy-majig, you can find this note which is referencing something in Mist. I've never played the game, so I don't know. But it's referencing something, I know that. And then we have Meow Wolf, where if you go over by the first hole, you can find this recreation of the main menu in the Meow Wolf style. And if you go into the sheep dimension, you can find one of the cloud sheep has its tongue sticking out, which is again referencing the Kyoto Valley sheep. And then finally, to conclude this video, we have Widow's Walkabout. And this course has by far more Easter eggs than any other course in the entire game. To start this course off, if you fly way into the distance, you can find a random vacuum cleaner and 2 brooms. Not sure what this is about, but okay. And when you first walk into the mansion, underneath this crashed chandelier is a hidden skeleton. You can also find this head on the wall, and it's actually the monster from Journey to the Center of the Earth. Man, it is hard to get a good shot of that guy. You can also find this painting of a black cat, which is referencing the cat from Upside Down. You can also find another painting of a ship about to crash into an island, which is of course is referring to a strap where you see a giant ship crashed into an island. There's also a painting where you see a smaller ship going towards a smaller island, and what do you see on the glitter strap? A smaller ship going onto a smaller island. There's also another picture that has the skeleton of a fish. And coincidentally, you can also find a fishbowl with a skeleton fish in it. And there's also that skeleton fish by the bathtub with the severed arm. And there was another skeleton fish on Temple of Zerzura where the cat ate. And there was also a skeleton fish in the new course Venice. Anyways, moving on, you can also find this tomb thing, which you can also find on this boat at Temple at Zerzura. There's also these plates around the map that have windmills on them, referencing Kyoto Valley. In this room behind the bookshelf, you can also find another severed arm. There's also this giant elephant head mounted above the mantle, which is foreshadowing Around the World in 80 Days, which has an elephant. Outside the house, there's also the statue, which is of course referencing original Gothic. All the clocks on the map also say 13 o'clock, which of course, according to superstition, is the unlucky number. You can also find a wardrobe hidden in the corner that has a hidden skelly inside of it. There's also this painting, which I believe is referencing the dead body from original Gothic hard mode hidden off of AL8. There's also this painting of a chair, which is referencing the 1871 painting Whistler's Mother. And if you go inside the safe, you can find some more bananas. There's also this statue of a puffin, which I didn't realize till recently was foreshadowing the ice layer map and all the puffins. And if you go in the attic, in the corner you can find another hidden skeleton, as well as a severed arm over in this corner. And on the roof, if you look through the telescope, you can see a silhouette on the lighthouse. But if you actually take the time to fly all the way over to the lighthouse, you can see there's nothing actually there. But if you look over to the foot of the lighthouse, you can find this bell, which is the same bell from that painting in the dining room. And if you go on hard mode and look through the telescope, instead of seeing a silhouette, you just see one of those creepy dolls. You can also find on the side of the roof another hidden dead body. And next up we have what is probably the greatest Easter egg in all of Walkabout Minigolf. If you go in the storage room, on this book, you can see the words dead bodies, a compendium. And if you look up the definition of a compendium, you find a collection of things systematically gathered. So a collection of dead bodies systematically gathered. Anyways, this has been every Easter egg of Walkabout Minigolf. Thank you for watching. This took forever to edit, and I'll see you in the next one.